Good morning. Day 28, trading Momo strategy in the sim. Do what the chat. So RMSG is making news here this morning, but I'm not particularly interested in it because it's a penny. It's surprising that it blew through the 200 moving average there, which is at 180. But it does have a decent amount of volume this morning, 600,000, 700,000 shares. But I'm not too interested in trading it since it is a penny and the headline is regains NASDAQ minimum bid price requirement. S&P 500 is still at all-time highs, which is interesting. US oil is continuing to fall. Other than RMSG, there's not really anything that looks interesting this morning, and RMSG isn't that interesting to me myself, so sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze into the mic because I know it's too loud. But it's interesting that this is giving us a 1 minute pullback where it's holding 200 moving average here. First candle to make a new high would be 184. I'm just not interested in it because the the news headline isn't strong and it's cheaper, so I don't really trust it not to be a false break. But we did get a better sleep last night, which is good. So we're here being a sniper once again. waiting to pick the low-hanging fruit. So there's not really anything interesting this morning. We're just going to wait for 7:30 news or for something to pop up on continuation that looks interesting. But as my title suggests, I'm just going to be focusing on base hits. Two entries, two exits at most, if not one entry, one exit. The most important thing for us to resolve right now is back testing for what I'm doing. You know, getting some confidence back, getting some base hits back, increasing my accuracy. If I do try to do too many things at once, you know, chasing too many rabbits at one time, you don't catch any of them. So we are going to focus on selection and entries first to increase our accuracy. We've already, for the most part, we've already resolved my issue of holding and hoping. Still do it a little bit sometimes, but it's not to the point that it's a problem anymore. The most important problem for me to fix is, you know, correct stocks, the correct entries, and increasing my accuracy. We have Arena popping up here on continuation, recent reverse split. Previous high was 770. So Arena was a stock that popped up there on good news, sold off, and then came back up. So it came back up during regular hours because the news was, people realized that the news was actually good. So above 770 would be continuation for a move higher. But we're not trading it in this range right now. You know, when it's below the previous lows. We want to trade it when it breaks 770 and holds. Because then we can confirm that the stock is strong enough to move higher. We would actually be looking for a breakthrough 775. If it breaks and holds 770, then we could anticipate the break through 775. But, you know, if we remember the flow chart the other day, we can also anticipate below 770 if we form a cup and handle. So if we come up to 770, you know, this would be a cup and handle from a continuation of a previous day. We come up, bounce off a little bit off of 770, which we're kind of doing here in a certain way. If support comes up and we get a pattern, and I could enter for the break of 750. We want to make sure that we're close to breaking that level. So a base hit kind of trade as a starter would be 50 shares. So I would take a 50 share starter. I can add 50 if it's moving quickly, but no more than that. I have to do it pretty early on in the move. Or I could add 50 and then add 25. Just small share size, just not to kind of mess up the cost basis. SMX is moving, but I don't see news on it, and it's cheaper price. It is close to $2. I'll put it on the side chart. But I'm not sure what the catalyst on it is. That 5-minute candle is forming as a hammer right now. As long as it continues to hold up, then in the next minute, if it's not high volume selling, then I might be able to enter a bit early to anticipate the break of 770 because we are forming kind of a cup and handle pattern around this level. We'll see what it does here though. Got a couple of topping tails there. I don't particularly like, but Finally breaks down there. MACD's crossed over now. So unfortunately this didn't work out. You have to wait for it to come back up to 770 to be interested in trading it. I'm gonna do while I'm waiting. I want to check if there's any news on any of the Canadian brokers about new stuff. I'm still looking forward to if Centerpoint decides to decrease their account minimum requirement, or if Questrade Pro is finally going to implement hotkeys. It looks like we're coming back up here, so I have to keep an eye on this for a second. So we got a clear bull flag on the 5-minute. Problem is MACD still crossed over. It's interesting that the high of this 1-minute candle is 728, which is the high of this previous candle on the 5-minute. First candle to make a new high would be 729. It looks like it's rejecting there for a second. quite tight around VWAP here. So it is possible that if it breaks back up, you can see a squeeze. It is light volume though, 36,000, 20,000, 2,000. I'm gonna check center point. Doesn't look like they're changing their minimum account size. I think they're still trying to be a premium broker. Doesn't look like Questrade Pro has hotkeys yet either. Fortunately, the TradeZero is still going to be my only option. But maybe by the time I get out of the simulator here, it'll change. Who knows? Ooh. Five minutes to 7:30. Maybe there will be some fresh news. Ooh. Excuse me. I'm not really that tired, but I'm just yawning anyways. Ask is also continuation from a previous day. It's just very light volume. 30,000, 12,000, 67,000 shares. We got high volume selling in that 1 minute. If it closes as a red candle. Minutes to 7:30. All right, so we are watching news. There's an MOU. Memorandum of Understanding. The problem with SkyQ is that it's been trading so much in the past month. Relative volume would be really low. So right now, SkyQ's got increasing volume right up until that topping tail, but been selling off for the past few weeks. It's not up enough on the day. So even up at where it was up at 330, it was only up 15%. And its relative volume is really low because of how much it's been trading and just been selling off because of the Iran war. And the fossil fuel stocks just haven't been easy to trade. So given all of those factors combined, you know, I don't think that this is the right one. This isn't the one to trade today. It definitely isn't the one after that big obvious red candle. My monologue there would have been a lot more interesting without that red candle. But now it's just kind of like, well, thanks, detective. So we're just waiting. We're not interested in any of this stuff. Probably watch Erna. I'm interested in Erna if it breaks over 770. But everything else today is either too low price, too high float, doesn't have news, or is not up enough on the day. So we're waiting for 7:45, 8 a.m. Just sitting around. I have things on the side that I'm paying attention to as well. My apologies if I'm just sitting here not saying anything. There's nothing going on, and I was just reading emails. If there's nothing happen, I can't really make anything happen. So I'm kind of in an awkward situation right now where I can't really start a Slay the Spire run or anything because Erna is hovering above VWAP here. So if at any point it has a surge in volume and breaks above 770, I'll be interested in it. But I need to be ready in case that happens. Otherwise, there's nothing else going on. I don't like any of these other stocks today. We're just chilling. This is the part where it would be fun having a community chat with in the future, because it would keep my mind off of just sitting here and doing nothing. I have Ross's community, but that's usually kind of just restricted to talking about trade ideas. Ross isn't even at his desk right now. He's just gone. He's doing whatever he's doing. He's waiting for 8 a.m. Though I will say there is something meditative about sitting here doing nothing. You know, before since my strategy included so many different setups between VWAP setups, curling patterns, bear traps, reversals, all that stuff. You know, it was like having to watch stocks all the time. Watch every and all stocks. But because my rules right now are so clear about what I can and can't trade, you know, it has to be at high a day, or it has to be a fresh pop, or it has to be, you know, that specific time frame between the opening bell and 10 o'clock. We can kind of let go, not overtrade, and accept that there's nothing moving right now. So we just chill. I suppose I could watch YouTube on the side or something. During a hot market, I would be more active than this because there would be more that's popping up that's interesting. This really is kind of what we want in a certain sense during a cold market. We don't want to be over trading. We want the best quality. We want to take advantage of the best quality. Because trading in the area between VWAP and high of day, or between high of day, or wherever the range it's trading, it doesn't have a very good edge. Unless your strategy is different, you're a micro scalper and you have more experience doing that. For me, it has no edge. Not right now, anyways. I need to gain more experience in order to have a verifiable edge trading anything between a range. .6 minutes to 8 a.m. We got a minute and a half to 8 a.m. We will watch the news. I have a feeling that if there's no news, that this, I think Erna's probably going to spike in volume. The way that it's forming that 5-minute candle right now. Ended up forming red. Unfortunate. Maybe not then. But it does still show support at VWAP and the 9 EMA on the 5-minute. So we're watching for news. Revenue news. It's got a recent reverse split and a low float. And room up to the 200. I'm just not sure if revenue news is particularly strong enough, but it is moving quickly now. ETRA. It's a biotech stock. Class action lawsuit. 200 is right at 850. We are in a gap here. It breaks 850. Gap up to 13. The ATRA is a higher float, but it's up more on the day than VEE is. And it's a biotech. Got some high volume selling on the 1 minute though. Got this resistance up here at 890. We've got the 200 EMA at 857. The EEE looks like it's not holding up either. So this might curl back up, but we're not touching it until it breaks 890. It needs to break 9. VEEE is also curling back up. So VEE is a lower float, but the news doesn't seem that great. Continued revenue. I'm not sure about this class action lawsuit though. Also provides a regulatory update. Well, the class action lawsuit was 7 a.m. So the actual news is this regulatory update. What is the regulatory update? Stuff that I don't understand about biotech things. Good to know. So, I mean, the price action doesn't seem to be that positive about it yet, so that's all we need to know. And VEEE, V, what kind of revenue growth are we talking here? %10 increased revenue growth year over year. Not particularly astounding. Let's see, does it break 8 here? Or do we just bounce off? I think we are rejecting. That is why we do not anticipate the first break of high of day right now. We do have increasing volume here, it looks like. This would have been an area in the past where I would have bought for 730. And it did spike up to 780. So that would have been a 50-cent winner on that hammer there. The on the 5-minute candle, it looks like we're forming a bit of a hammer. But once again, we have the 200 moving average up there. If we break and hold it, then we're in business. But we have to wait. 15 seconds left on that 5-minute candle. In the past, I might have bought for a breakthrough 8 here. The retest of 850. So, I mean, a quick scalp would have worked, but more than likely it wouldn't have been I would have probably just ended up exiting for like a 10-cent loss. Or like a 10-cent, not a 10-cent loss, but like a 10-cent winner because it popped up and then instantly rejected off that 857 level. We still have increasing volume on the 1 minute. Creeping up to 850. This is somewhat of a cup and handle pattern here. If it doesn't break any lower. But the problem is that the resistance is the 200 moving average. Which is a pretty hefty level of resistance. So I don't think I want to get into anticipate a break of the 200 moving average. It's a bit risky. Short sellers love the 200 moving average. So that bull flag would have worked up to 850. This would be what I would call a retest of VWAP setup. Okay, so it breaks. Does it hold? Needs to hold 200. Still got increasing volume on that pop. Selling volume is getting lighter. We're not quite holding the 200. We're consolidating right below it. Set an order up near 9. Okay, so we got a bit of a cup and handle going. Drop back below the 200. We're holding 45. Not for long there, though. Back to 825. So what I would be looking for to anticipate a cup and handle would be if it were to break back above the 200 and break 875. We got 20 seconds left on that 2-minute candle. This cup and handle, I mean, it's a little bit extended now. We're actually close to crossing over on MACD. So if it rejects off 890, it's very likely that the stock is going to continue selling off. So maybe it would be best to wait for an actual break of 9. MACD is negative now. We're bouncing off that 9 EMA again. Unfortunately for now, it looks like it didn't have enough strength to break through that 200 moving average and hold it. It's not over yet. It may still curl back up, but now it's going to be a bit harder now that MACD is crossed over. I'm just going to turn my camera off for a moment and eat a breakfast snack. Well, I thought maybe we could curl back up there, but it looks like it was just a 1 minute pullback for going lower. Well, darn. So we're waiting for 8:30. VEEE ended up selling off too. It never double topped up at 8 and then sold off. Airna ended up selling off as well. Waiting for 8:30. So the move on ATRA potentially isn't over yet, considering how the 5 minute is forming right now. If it breaks back above 8 after closing like this with a hammer, then it has the potential to move higher. But we're waiting for now to wait for it to come back up to the highs. It's 8:30 in about 45 seconds here. I'm gonna watch for news. First 1 minute candle to make a new high and first and second pullbacks. What does Y4AD mean in the last part of your sentence there? Sorry. Yeah, I do first and second pullbacks as well. So trade at the 200, yeah. So I do first and second pullbacks, but only if the stock holds up. So if it was a spike in algorithm on breaking news and then a shallow pullback above VWAP, then I would trade the first and second pullbacks for continuation. If the stock breaks through high of day and holds high of day, then I would trade the first and second 1 minute pullbacks on continuation. And on gap and goes, if we break high of day, or if we do a red to green move, I would trade the first and second pullbacks on continuation there. But if it drops below high of day like this and sells off, and we're kind of curling back up here, like I don't trade any of this anymore right now. This would have worked right here at 807 for the breakthrough 750. But I haven't been having a very good edge on trading in between high of day and VWAP recently, so I'm pretty much just trading like Ross. Ross sometimes trades for curls back up, but I'm just waiting for breaks of high of day because I feel like that's where I have the most edge, and then I trade first and second pullbacks on continuation after the break, the fresh breakout. Because once it's breaking out, that means that the stock has already proved itself to be strong enough. Break and hold. And breaking news, you can't always tell on breaking news, but if it surges up quickly and then has very light volume selling for the pullback, especially if it's like below 3 million shares, or even better if it's like 1 million or below 1 million shares, where short sellers can't get availability of shares to borrow, that's where I would get dialed in, I think, for first and second 1 minute pullbacks. But that's just my new plan. My plan to try and increase my accuracy, because my accuracy's been 50%. And that's just what I've decided, I guess, after thinking and doing a lot of research and listening to Ross again and listening to some other folks that trade momentum, long bias momentum, small caps. Not saying that you definitely cannot trade down here. It's just I don't have enough experience to do it yet, do it consistently. So I'm going to start with high of day breaks, breaking news, gap and goes, and then once I get a handle on that and I can remain consistently profitable, then I can consider adding some other setups into the mix, I think. Because I think that's kind of been my problem recently is I've been trying to do too much at once. I've been trying to scale in and out. I've been trying to trade like 6 different patterns, 7 different setups. I gotta focus on one thing at a time, get good at it, and then I can expand, I think. just my opinion, though. We'll see how it works out. I feel like I'm on the right track. Because I mean, Ross hasn't traded anything yet today either. So we'll see if this 5-minute candle closes green or red. So we're looking for it to break 857 above the 200 moving average and come back up to high of day and either form a cup and handle again, although that pattern is kind of already broken at this point. So we're probably looking for a breakthrough 9, break and hold. At 813. Oh yeah, for sure. Right there. Yeah, I recognize that one too. I would have traded that in the past for sure, because this is what I would call a retest of VWAP. This would be a retest of VWAP setup. That's what I would call it, because it comes down, tests it, forms an entry candle with the bull flag. I would probably either take the dip off of VWAP if MACD is still positive, and then add for the first candle to make a new high here at 810. That would have worked all the way up to, yeah, that would have worked all the way up to 9. That would have been a nice trade. So I would have traded that in the past, and I would have traded down here in the past too. Because we closed as a green body on the 2-minute, and then we also had a hammer on the 1-minute. So I would have traded for this kind of ABCD pattern almost. Yeah, in a slow market, there are still opportunities. I actually I made a chart that documented in the past month since I've been streaming, how many opportunities there were for like A quality setups. A quality setups being the stock was up at least 30% or about to be above 30%. Has fresh news or continuation news. Um, has a float lower than 5 million shares or lower than 10 million shares, but mostly lower than 5 million shares. Relative volume is high. The five pillars of stock selection, right? And prices between 2 to 10. I made a chart and found that there were at least 40 opportunities like in the past month, almost like 37 or something, close to 40, just waiting for Hive Day breaks or something to hold up. Granted, a lot of those opportunities were stocks that gave multiple opportunities throughout the day. It wasn't 40 consecutive opportunities. It was probably more like 20. And then a few of them gave maybe 2 or 3 opportunities in a single day, or sometimes even 4. But that shows that I mean, I might as well just show it. I showed it yesterday on stream, but it was pretty early in the day, so people might not have tuned in yet. It was like 30, yeah, I was 34 since March 26th to the other day. Some of them had multiple opportunities, like ARTL gave 4, CYCN gave 5, SkyQ gave 4, ROLR gave 2, Bird gave 3, ARTL gave 2. But these are all like A quality setups where prices between 2 to 10, gain is up at least 30% on the day. And the patterns were Hive Day squeeze, gap and go, or breaking news. So where it breaks Hive Day was like 56% of them. Breaking news was 21%, and gap and goes were 21%. So half were Hive Day breaks on like continuation or fresh news, and then the other half were like either gap and goes or breaking news. But even in this cold market, this shows that there should be plenty of opportunities. Like if I could capitalize even on half of the squeeze of these, then it would have more than doubled my account. You know, not factoring in losses. If you can have 75% accuracy of this and capture half of the move, I would meet my my cold market weekly or cold market monthly goal, which would be like 40% easily. So this is kind of what I did before I decided, you know what, I'm just going to focus on fresh news or continuations from like previous day where it has news where it breaks a previous high rather than try to trade around in between a range that has a little bit less edge because I'm not very good at trading them yet. I keep losing on them. The 1 minute pullback that you mentioned right here was, yeah, it was great. But for my strategy right now, I want to see it break Hive Day first before I even trade it because I've been losing a lot trading in between the range recently. A lot of my profits and a lot of my losses are getting siphoned trading outside of where it's squeezing up. Ross is, I think he's redoing his education today, his education portal. So it's gonna like redo all his courses, uh, brand new. It said that if we wanted to keep our progress, then we would have to like do something. I haven't done that because I'm probably gonna go back and watch his videos again in the education portal, which includes first and second pullbacks. So I'll see what he has to say because I know he redid all of his courses recently too. I watched the majority of the ones that I watched were when he did the courses back in 2001. I'm interested to see what his changes to the education portal are in the warrior trading courses. I'll probably take a look this weekend and watch some of the videos. For some reason, I actually like watching courses that are redone by the same person in a different way, like 3 or 4 years down the line. Like they probably keep the general setup the same. They just deliver it in a different way as they're talking. And sometimes you can get a, sometimes you understand it better one way than the other way. So when you do it two separate times, something that you might not have gotten so well before, like one particular subject, they re-deliver it, and then you're like, oh, I get it now. It was the same way with Brandon Sanderson because I like writing too. One of my hobbies on the side is writing fantasy novels. Brandon Sanderson has an online lecture at his university that he did quite a few years ago, and he's just redoing it recently. It's quite interesting to see him deliver it again. I'm being a little bit harsh, not making an exception for this setup here on myself because I had a specific set of rules that I kind of stuck to. I did see this setup. Like, yeah, I did see it, but it's a little bit harsh to ignore that. I mean, setup really is, I mean, it's pretty perfect other than the fact that this candle here had a big topping tail. It has increasing volume there. High volume buying, increasing volume, light volume selling. Two candles for a bull flag with a hammer bouncing off of VWAP. While MACD has been positive from the very beginning. I might as well watch it since we're not doing anything else. We're waiting for 9 a.m. news here. So I'll watch 9 a.m. But you guys won't be able to hear me watching the YouTube video. I have all my desktop sounds muted on stream so you guys don't have to hear the pinging of Day Trade Dash and any of the other sounds on my desktop. The thing that he doesn't explain in that video is whether or not, like, this sort of context would work, like, all the time. Because we had a big topic tail, we kind of sold off, came back up here. But I mean, the volume profile checks out. Building volume, like volume pullback. And yeah, I do know about bull flags and ABCD patterns and those typical candlestick patterns that he uses. All of the examples that he gave were like fresh breaking news, the first pullback after fresh breaking news without having like these big topping tails back here and kind of selling off below VWAP and then curling back up. That's why I was kind of wary of this, because the big topping tails and because it was kind of curling back up here. If it was a squeeze and then kind of going sideways above VWAP, or like slight pullback just above VWAP, I'm going to be much more optimistic about it. But the volume profile definitely does signal that this is a good first pullback for like after it curls back up. And MACD still positive. So you're right. What was the other thing that he said that I realized? Oh yeah, he said, so target is a retest of the high. So the high of the top of the pullback. So yeah, this had room all the way up to 850. So for the break of 8, first candle to make a new high, then you have, 40, 50 cents for the retest of 843, potentially 850. So this pullback gives enough of a 2-to-1 profit to loss ratio. If you just set your stop like arbitrary 10, 15 cents, I wouldn't set it all the way to the bottom of the candle at 750. Stock's not the best example. Yeah, I do know about bull flag and ABCD patterns. They're 100% incorporated into my strategy for trading continuation on breaking news or trading continuation on high of day squeeze. It's just that this particular example, where it kind of topping tail sells off below VWAP and curls back up, makes me a bit more wary. That's why I didn't trade it. But looking back on it in hindsight, yeah, I mean, it did have the volume profile, did have everything else going for it. Yeah, I mean, you can get in first candle, make a new high, and if it doesn't immediately pull away, like what happened here? That breakout or bailout mentality? Yeah, it didn't even pull back here if you got in first candle to make a new high. You get in and then it just kind of it surged up. So if you get in and it doesn't work immediately, then you just get back out. That's fair. Yeah, I know about all the candlestick patterns that I remember were bull flag, ABCD, head and shoulders, reverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, um, reversals. What else? flat top breaks. Bullish engulfing. The tricky part is just knowing under what context to incorporate them. So like, you know, a bull flag down here below VWAP doesn't work. But I guess if you take if the first signal is buying, like if it's increasing volume, I guess that's the first signal. MACD positive, increased buying. Meets all 5 pillars of stock selection. So even though there were some red flags back here, like these topping tails and the fact that it dropped below VWAP, it would have worked. Front side of the move, yeah. That too. I guess like I'm being particularly harsh on myself because I'm like, well, this, you know, this is trading in between VWAP and high of day, so I don't want to touch it because I'm afraid I'm gonna get my hands dirty. Whereas if it were like very close to high of day with a shallow pullback after fresh breaking news, I mean, I guess this is close enough. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this is the front side of the move. Maybe I'll have to reevaluate that. Right now, I'm like, must be high of day squeeze, must be shallow pullback after breaking news. That's how I've fixed myself to not trade in between range, like in a range when it's consolidating. But I wasn't consolidating, it was pushing higher. That increasing volume. Let's stop in on Candyman. Candyman doing today? Candyman small green. Green is good. EJ. EJ's green today. That's good. I forgot to mention I did look into trading Farmer, but all of his videos are privated. Like all of his lives, they're all members only. I couldn't actually watch him trade. It's too bad. I wanted to see him trade, but all of his available videos are kind of him just doing recaps. And he doesn't really, at least that I saw, he didn't really have a video that went over his strategy in depth. Unless I missed it. So we're waiting for 9:15. It's our last chance for news. If there's nothing at 9:15, then I'm not sure. We'll have to see if there's an opportunity for gap and go at the open, but there's nothing really I like today. Maybe RTA pushes back up to the highs, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Ross kind of defines the front side of the move as after the fresh breaking news pop. So the breaking news algorithm pop. Front side is where MACD remains positive. At any point that MACD crosses over, that's now the back side. So that only lasted like 15 minutes. And then after the point that it kind of sells off and consolidates, it would have to come back to high of day with MACD positive and potentially break high of day for that to be the front side of the new fresh break. At least from what I understand. That could be a way for me to look at it is instead of it being consolidation, like, is it the front side of the move? It's not trading within a range here. It's still on the front side of the move because MACD never crossed over. Maybe that would be a more accurate guideline for me being able to trade. So MACD hasn't yet crossed over. And it needs to be pushing higher with increasing volume. I doubt we're gonna get any 8 or 9:15 a.m. news. So in terms of things that I would be willing to trade at the open, I'm not really sure if you could say that ARTA is holding up or not. It's not holding above VWAP right now. The fact that it is close to VWAP is promising. You might be able to trade it for like a reclaim of VWAP. GLE is too cheap, 68 cents, but it's our leading gainer. RXT has a 100 million share float. I can't trade that. Doesn't meet 5 pillars. AGL price is too high. Doesn't fit the 5 pillars. Everything else is super high float on the top 10 leading gainers. For continuation setups, EDSA maybe first candle to make a new high on the daily, but it doesn't have any volume right now. So BR it's a bit cheaper. PMAX we need to get back above 550, which is quite a bit of ways away. ERNA potentially for continuation over 770. This is the one that popped up earlier, but then it kind of failed to hold above VWAP. But 5-day on ERNA isn't far away, so this does have potential for continuation as well. Pretty much at the open, I would be looking at ATRA, ERNA. But not really too much else. But ATRA would need to do that. ATRA would need to come back up to the highs here and squeeze through the highs and then hold it for me to trade it, or give a proper red to green. So like a red to green where maybe it pulls back to the 20 EMA down here, or to support 730, 728. And then give a red to green move for the reclaim of VWAP or break through the highs. ERNA, I would be looking for breakthrough 770 for continuation. RMSG is also coming back up here a little bit, even though it's a bit cheaper. Highs is 189. It breaks up and holds above the 200 moving average, which is 180. And then it breaks up through 190, maybe. I'm interested to see what Ross does. He doesn't have any trades on the day yet either. Curious if he sticks around for the open to try and get a trade, or if he just shuts it down, calls it a no trade day. Was Ross just shutting it down? Yeah, you're probably right. Opening bell may not be good today. If there was nothing during pre-market, there's probably not going to be anything during opening bell. I hope June is going to be exciting. I bet June is going to be like witnessing a hot market for the first time. When I started in June, I was really new. So when I actually did my first education with Ross, I think it was like August. It was August or September, and I remember, the time might not be exact. When I first started actually trading with an account, it was a super cold market, and then I saw it heat up for the first time, and stocks were going crazy. I don't remember which stock it was exactly, but it was a stock that went up like 1,000% or something in a single day, and I was like, "This is insane." Got me really excited to trade. Hope June is going to be like that. Probably have it in my archives still because I was recording even back then. Must have been September, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. September, October, yeah. Wasn't any of these days. Maybe it was October. Yeah, I agree. That's my new rule for trading at the open. Don't trade the first 2 minutes of the opening bell. I did find that one out harshly. All right, so let's watch internet kind of selling off, the RTA kind of selling off. It's coming down to that support level there. It looks like it's just selling off to me. Hmm. Yeah, I was thinking maybe if it dropped below and then came back up quickly, then this could be a red to green, but it doesn't look like it's a red to green. It looks like it's kind of consolidating now below the support level. So I think it's done. Ugh. Yeah, none of the other stuff I had on watch is looking like it was good. So I think I agree with you. I think I'm gonna call it here. No trade. No trades for today. No trade day. Better than a red day. You know, I don't want to keep going with a red day streak trading suboptimal stuff. So we're going to wait for something good to pop up. You know, I will keep in mind I'll keep in mind what Bass talked about the front side of the move rather than me completely ignoring it because, you know, it's below hive day. I should be ignoring consolidation. Front side of the move is when MACD sells and crossed over. I'll keep that in mind. But Ross had a no trade day today. This will be a no trade day for me. Not going to lower my quality standard. Thank you. If anything, I feel like I can have good discipline. Even when I trade with real money, I feel like discipline is going to be one of my strong suits. I hope. I could be wrong, but I don't want to trade anything that's not quality right now. It's only going to put me into a spiral if I do it. And what I need the most right now is a rebuild of my confidence. I started off the challenge here strong, but ever since I had that huge red day, a big mistake, I've slightly been going on a spiral. So I don't want to continue that anymore. We're resetting ourselves, focusing on base hits, and just looking for the best setups. But that's it for me. I'm off for now. Take care, stay green, and I'll see you next time. Peace.